Jesse Owens, silencing doubts. Sprinting into history. What does it take to silence hate? To defy the world when the world refuses to see you? To run, not just for victory, but for dignity itself. Berlin, 1936. The stadium trembles with the march of thousands. Flags bearing the swastika rise over a city built to showcase supremacy. From the stands, a dictator watches, certain that his vision of a master race will be proven before the eyes of the world. But then, one man steps onto the track, a young black athlete from America. No armor, no weapon, only speed, grace, and unbreakable spirit. His name, Jesse Owens. And what he was about to do would echo across generations, setting the starting block. Before the roar of the crowd, before the gold, there was silence and struggle. Jesse Owens was born in Oakville, Alabama in 1913, the youngest of 10 children. His parents were sharecroppers, descendants of slaves. Theirs was a life of endurance, of cotton fields and aching hands, of hope that somehow their children would outrun the past. At 9 years old, Jesse's family joined the Great Migration, leaving the South for Cleveland, Ohio. The city was different, cold, noisy, and divided in new ways. There were still lines he wasn't allowed to cross, still looks that reminded him who society thought he was. But there, amid the gray factories and crowded streets, Jesse found something pure: the track. Running gave him freedom. It was the one place where color didn't matter, only heart. A high school coach, Charles Riley, saw that spark. He trained Jesse early every morning, sometimes when frost still covered the ground. Riley didn't just teach him how to run, he taught him how to believe. And Jesse, small and quiet, began to move with the rhythm of destiny. Defying the odds. At Ohio State University, Jesse Owens was called the fastest man alive, but he was still treated like a second-class citizen. He couldn't stay in campus dorms. He couldn't eat with his white teammates in certain restaurants. He had to sleep in separate hotels, sometimes even in cars between races. Yet every time he stepped onto the track, the world paused. Every start line was a challenge, every finish line a victory over prejudice. Then came May 25th, 1935, a day that would rewrite the limits of human potential. At a college meet in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Jesse Owens achieved the impossible. In just 45 minutes, he broke 3 world records and tied a 4th. Long jump, 220-yard dash, 220-yard hurdles, all shattered. It became known as the greatest 45 minutes in sports history. He wasn't just fast, he was transcendent. And soon his speed would carry him far beyond America's borders, into the heart of darkness itself. The 1936 Olympic Games were to be held in Berlin, under Adolf Hitler's rule, under banners meant to divide. The world debated whether to boycott. How could America, the land of freedom, send its athletes to a nation built on hate when it still denied equality at home? For Jesse, the question cut deep, but he decided to go. "I'm going," he said quietly, "because someone has to show them what a man can do." The Berlin Gauntlet. Berlin was a theater of intimidation. Flags, soldiers, propaganda. Hitler sat in his private box, watching, waiting to prove his ideology through victory. When Jesse stepped onto the track, the crowd fell into a strange, tense silence. Thousands of eyes followed the dark figure in the lane. A man Hitler would rather not have seen. The gun fired, and Jesse ran. In 10 seconds, he crossed the finish line first. Gold. The next day, the long jump. Jesse fouled his first 2 attempts. One more mistake, and he'd be out. Then, something unexpected happened. A German athlete, tall, blonde, confident, had approached him. "Loose long," he offered a tip. "Take your mark a few inches back. You'll still make the distance. Just get a clean jump." It was advice from a rival, in front of Hitler's nation. Jesse followed it. He qualified. And then in the final he soared 8.06 meters, another gold. After the event, Loose Long was the first to embrace him. Together they walked, arm in arm, across the track. A black American and a German athlete under the Nazi flag. That image traveled the world, a friendship that defied hate. Jesse went on to win 2 more gold medals, in the 200 meters and the 4x100 relay. 4 golds in total. Each one a message more powerful than words. Hitler left the stadium before shaking his hand. Jesse didn't need it. He had already shaken the soul of a generation. Beyond the finish line. When Jesse returned home, he expected celebration. And for a moment there was. Parades, applause, newspaper headlines. But when the lights faded, the reality returned. America still saw his color before his courage. He wasn't invited to the White House. President Roosevelt never sent a telegram. At a banquet in his honor, he had to use a freight elevator because black guests weren't allowed through the main entrance. He said later, "I wasn't invited to shake hands with Hitler, but I wasn't invited to the White House to shake hands with the president either." After the Olympics, Jesse struggled. There were no sponsorships, no government support, no financial reward. He raced against horses for show, performed in small exhibitions, not for pride, but to feed his family. And still he refused bitterness. He began to speak at schools, telling children about dignity and effort, about never letting others decide their worth. He said, "Find the victory within yourself, because the race in life is not always to the swift, but to the strong in spirit." He taught them that real greatness isn't measured in seconds, it's measured in character. Sprinting into the future, time passed. The medals dulled, but the memory didn't. Jesse Owens became a global ambassador, a voice for sportsmanship and equality. He met presidents, kings, and young athletes who called him their hero. He carried the Olympic torch, not for glory, but for unity. In his later years, he once said, "The battles that count aren't the ones for gold medals. The struggles within yourself. That's where the real race is won." When Jesse Owens died in 1980, the world didn't just lose a runner. It lost a symbol of defiance, of grace, of what humanity can be at its best. Today, his name lives on. In stadiums, in textbooks, in the quiet dreams of every child who believes they can be more than what the world tells them. He proved that speed could shatter lies, that humility could defeat arrogance, that one man could change history without ever raising his voice. And even now, if you close your eyes and listen, you can still hear him running. Running through time, running through history, running toward freedom. Because Jesse Owens didn't just win 4 gold medals. He won something far greater, the race for the human spirit.